Oh yeah, sexy biscuits. Nice.
Long boy clothes, 1975. A YouTuber's on the rise. Reviewing games late at night and sometimes friends used to bug me. Long boys clothes, 1975.
Hey YouTube, Long Boys Post 1975, and welcome to the Wednesday vlog. Now, you can't see what's outside my window, but let me tell you, I am extremely happy right now, extremely happy. It's overcast, it looks like it's going to rain, and it's actually quite cold. These are all things that make me very, very happy. As someone who's hot-blooded and permanently warm, and not just because I have to sleep during the daytime, I loathe summer and I hate the heat. So after the couple of weeks I've had, please, please, please stay like this forever. Anyway, that's completely irrelevant and random, even by my standards. I want to talk about, as always, you've probably read the title, the system I could not live without. What system could you not live without? Now, I think it's inevitable at some point. Those of us who collect retro games, and it's a cliche, I know that, I understand that it's a cliche, but we always get asked the same question. It did the rounds on YouTube a few years ago, and there were loads of responses, and it's, you know, if your house was on fire and you could only save, I mean, it goes to every sort of aspect of hobbies and stuff like that. Even people even do it on loved ones, which is a bit sick, really. House was on fire and you could only save one of your systems or one of your consoles, which one would it be? And my answer generally to my friends surprised them, because they were like, what, really? Not your Mega Drive? Yeah, just get that way. It's not my Mega Drive. My Mega Drive is really, really important. You know, that is a yardstick for me, piecing together my childhood Japanese Mega Drive collection. I have an enormous amount of pride, you know, and every time I pop one of those games in, just looking at the game brings back memories and evokes nostalgia, and I absolutely love it. But it's not the system I could live with, or I couldn't live without, I should say. I'll get my words out in a moment. The system I could not live without, and yes, you know, it doesn't have to be, when I ask this question, you know, a system that's, you know, true to its factory form. And that, you know, is inherent in my answer why I simply could not live without it, because this system can multitask. And even on its own, being the system that it is, even before being soft modded, just gave my system away, I love it for what it is and what it can do. I simply, you know, if I had to get rid of everything tomorrow, but still wanted to carry on enjoying games in the capacity that I do, I simply could not get rid of my my Wii. I absolutely love my Wii. I've always been an advocate of the Wii. I've always been an advocate of motion controls if done correctly. I've always defended the Wii, you know, when people just said it's nothing but shovelware and games for kids or pensioners who, you know, to get them active and stuff like that. No, you know, when people say it's not a die-hard gamer console, is it not? I don't know. I'm a, you know, pretty religious gamer, and I've found a massive amount of enjoyment and titles on it there, you know, even before I soft modded it. But the reason I could not live without it, and then when I say that, in touch wood, it doesn't, if it died, I'd go out and get another one, you know, the same day. I mean, hell, they're in cash converters for a tenner. Seriously, people, buy a Wii for a tenner. You won't regret it. Is because of the sheer amount of stuff it can do. It's a real multitasker. Now, I know that you can do that on PCs and you can do it with Xboxes. Well, this just happened to be the route I did it with. And that coupled, you know, which is why I've fallen in love with the system, but that coupled with the fact that I think there are excellent gamers on there, and a few other things that I'll get to, is why it is the system. It is the core of my gaming experience. I've got EverDrives, you know, and stuff like that for my PC Engine, for my Mega Drive. You know, I've got 3DO. I've got, you know, consoles coming out of my ass. But my Wii is still the core of my system. I still play Wii games on it. I still absolutely love it for that. Another reason I absolutely adore it is because, you know, it's backward compatible. You can play, you know, the GameCube on it. Yes, I've got a GameCube, but the thing is, anyone who has a Wii U and collects GameCube games will know this, that the best possible image you can get from a GameCube, or for your GameCube games I should say, is with the correct cables on the Wii U. It looks absolutely fantastic. But you know, there's games, some of my favourite games are on, you know, the Wii U, like the Ghostbusters game is fantastic. Dead Rising, my favourite version, is on the Wii U. I've always said this because it plays as it should do. If you're stuck in a mall, you want guns that don't break, you know. You got your Mario Kart, you got your Tatsunoko versus you know, Capcom. There's so many good games. When people berate it, you know, and slag it off and stuff like that, I just say, well, A, do you own one? And B, if you do, you haven't looked hard enough. So that, coupled with the fact that, you know, it plays GameCube games, in itself means I've got two amazing libraries. And, you know, I still consider it a recent system, but now it's getting on a bit. Games, you know, are cheap as chips for it. But again, now the reason I simply cannot live without it is because I soft modded it. I bought my Wii originally in 2007, very early 2007, and I had no intention of soft modding. I didn't even know you could. I didn't even know what that would open up to me. And then I found out that Ghostbusters, because it was coming out in Blu-ray, wasn't it? So that was coming out on the PlayStation 3, Xbox, PlayStation 2 and Wii. And then right at the last minute, I found out that the Wii version, and I think the Xbox version, I didn't have an Xbox then, 360 that is I should say, were going to be delayed till like the next year. And I was like, what? It was something to do with, was it Sony or Columbia Pictures or Sony Pictures? I don't know. And I was so psyched for this game, and I've told this story before. I said to my mate at work, right, I don't know how, but I'm finding a way to play that game. Left, came back on the Monday. My mate actually said, so what happened? I said, soft modded my Wii, already ordered it from the States off Amazon. But once I soft modded it, I wasn't expecting it. I didn't know what I would expect. I was quite nervous doing it for the first time. I would definitely recommend it. Not for piracy reasons either. Simply because it makes it region free. But was all this stuff in there, all these menus and things, and the sheer amount of things you could do. The homebrew channel was absolutely fantastic. So I filled up my system with emulators. You know, this was a few years before my midlife crisis and collecting my Mega Drive, and well before I got massively back into retro. So, you know, I filled it up with SNES games, Mega Drive games, PC Engine games, Coleco games, you name it, had it on there. I absolutely loved it, and they still are on there, and I still, you know, like, this is why if I had to, you know, if I could only keep one system, or what is the core system of my gaming, it would be this. Because yes, I would miss my Mega Drive and my PC Engine and all the original hardware, but ultimately, if I had to make the sacrifice and only have one machine, I could still experience those systems on here. I would rather have the original hardware, but as I said, one machine only, well, I could not live without this. And then you drill down further and you find things like the media player, and you drill down through the media player, and people have got servers running showing movies and, you know, streams of South Park and things like that. I could not, you know, believe it. You could put iPlayer on it, absolutely fantastic. But you know, the homebrew stuff was just amazing. Then when I found out that you could put MAME on it, you know, Commodore emulator, Spectrum emulators, it was just absolutely fantastic. You know, and I've, you know, before I started getting all the games back and things like that, and getting Everdrives and things like that, I would use it in videos and things like that. It's become such a quintessential part of my setup that, as I said, simply could not imagine gaming without it. And if I could only have one, it would be that. For everything that I've said, I've had so much enjoyment out of it. It's so useful. It's almost, to some degrees, like I said, it's the route I went, you know, modding, to opening up to a whole new big world. But it's like a PC in some degrees. Yes, before everyone in the PC brigade, you know, ripped me to pieces. By that I mean, it's got this community, this homebrew community, you know, like there's homebrew games that are written for it, you know, absolutely fantastic. It's that I like. That's something that I, you know, I don't experience or can't experience on any other of my systems. Like, these homebrew games are amazing. There's a version of Quake on there where you can use the Wiimote and control, and it's got proper motion controls. It's fantastic. There's Doom 2 on there. There's all these little apps and things written for it. It's just everything that, you know, I liked, quirky things and things like that. Or get a drunken urinating in a pub simulator, you know. Things that, like, right up my sense of humour. These media players, people who've just taken this tiny little box and just opened it up into a massive box of tricks, you know, way more than, you know, it was ever supposed to do. And that in itself is, you know, as you know, I love it, but this has just strengthened my love for it. It is hands down one of my favourite consoles ever. And you know, as I said, the price is quite simple. Sacrifice all the machines if I had to. You know, like, what is my most used machine? What if I, you know, could only use one of these machines, you know, indefinitely, stuff like that. I kind of touched upon that before with the Spectrum, but outside of that, I mean, I can do that on this. You know, it is the cornerstone of my gaming. It's allowed me to experience so many things. So, you know, quite frankly, the one machine I could not live without. I could not imagine myself, you know, going without even in years' time, is my Nintendo Wii. I would love to know, you know, what yours are. And as always, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you later.